it is a big trope in anime that typically the toughest girl is afraid of ghosts.
That's a weird thing.
Are you not afraid of anything, Anthony?
No, like specific, like why does
rest my case.
always have to be ghosts though?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying is the weird part. Like, why can't like she be afraid of like choking or like dying alone like the rest of us?
Oh, well, you see, ghosts are spooky, Anthony.
Listen,
that's why.
I'm not afraid of inevitabilities. Hello, and welcome back to another arc, or not another arc, same arc still, another episode of My First Anime. This week we are discussing Hyouka episodes 5 through 8. I'm Chris Bailey.
I'm Salvador, also known as Monkey.
And I'm Anthony Vaught.
I did not engage in any extracurricular anime this week, so I got nothing for the anime minute.
Okay, my anime minute, you guys. I've just been reading some manga that came out. Black Clover, Might is Magic, ITLC. But let's get away from that a little bit. Everybody needs to watch fucking Taskmaster. It's so fucking good. It's on YouTube. All the episodes are up. Fucking watch that show. It's a British TV game show. It's so fucking good. I am addicted. They're 40 minutes long, which is ruining my fucking life because they're fantastic. But they take up so much time watching them. But I can't skip them because they're so good. Watch this show, you guys. That's all for my anime minute.
Guys, I have something.
Oh, hit us.
Guys, I have something.
Do it. If you say Valheim, I'm quitting.
The buggy arc.
Oh, talk One Piece to me.
It was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
We can move on now. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't like write all the shit down and stuff, but I just remember I laughed pretty hard when he had like tried to recall his body back. She had just bundled it up like a fucking present. And then fucking Luffy just yeets him out of the fucking just like his head, right, basically. Or a very small part of his body. Yeah, it was pretty fucking good.
I don't remember a lot of the specifics of the buggy arc except for Nami kicking Buggy in the dick and tying him up.
Yeah. Yep, that happened.
And the stuff with the dog.
Yeah, dog was pretty cute. And he fought off an entire village.
Hell yeah.
The dog was sad.
Yeah, it's a sad story, but he you know, he's one of the friends that we make along the way, Sal.
Yeah, they should have kept the dog.
The dog is One Piece.
His dog is the One Piece. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you go back and watch episode 4?
Yes.
Or did you watch it at the time? I forget.
No. I went back, watched 4 with the, I couldn't stand it, and there's nothing against the story part of it. It made a lot of sense, but holy fuck, his voice when he's young. It is coarse. Very extremely fucking, like, just rough. It hurt my voice listening to him talk.
Cool. I'm excited for you to keep watching One Piece.
And more Valheim.
Yeah, no one cares. I have a question that I was going to ask anyway. I kind of expected a shorter anime minute this week, and that's perfect. What do you guys do mysteries at all? Like, do you have any experience with like mystery fiction in general or detective fiction?
Yes.
Like what?
It's been a while, but I read the first 2 books of Sherlock. And I've watched any type of Sherlock movie out there that I can think of. And then I also like...
I haven't seen the Robert Downey Jr., but I'm going to go ahead and say that the BBC Sherlock, while I enjoy the first couple seasons, that is straight fucking pulp. That is not true, like, detective fiction. But
I've watched all that. I've watched all of the Robert Downey... I even watched the Watson show on Netflix, which was not that good, with the Stranger Things girl, Nola Holmes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's not that good. But yeah, I'm a big fan of detective stuffs, which is probably why this series hurts me a little bit.
Well, it sounds like you're a big fan of a very specific type of detective stuff. How about you, Monkey?
I mean, that was not me. That was the anime that me and you got into. That was a mystery. Erased. That I told you to watch.
Sure. Yes. I mean, I guess it is a mystery, but I'm talking like more traditional mystery stuff.
About people solving something. What?
Or things that I guess are closer to detective fiction than just something that has a mystery. Because by that logic, Lost is a fucking mystery, but isn't what I'm talking about.
I mean, I did watch Detective Conan too.
I don't know how well that fits into the conventions, actually. I haven't seen very much Detective Conan at all.
Yeah, I mean, as an anime, I think, I mean, Erased and Detective Conan, even though you can gripe about Erased for some reason, I can't think of any other mysteries that I've watched in anime form, but I watched a bunch of, I don't know what you call it. It's not cop dramas, but stuff like that.
Procedurals.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Monk. I love Monk. Psych is my favorite TV show, and that's two people being detectives trying to figure out what has happened in a 40-minute episode. I've watched Columbo. Columbo's fucking fantastic, but I don't think you consider that as mystery either.
No, Columbo totally fits. Columbo follows the conventions of like detective fiction pretty hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the Sherlock movie. I only watched the first one because I've watched the BBC Sherlock. I can't think of anything else. Oh, I watched Luther, if you consider that. I mean, that's more a detective show, I guess. But yeah, I watched a bunch of like different stuff, but I don't know if what you consider as super grounded into mystery and which one's not grounded in mystery. But like stuff like this show, like I think I would say Detective Conan is like this.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I know it's super old, and you know it's specifically about him being a detective. So to know that it would follow detective fiction conventions makes a lot of sense. But
okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to know like if you guys are even like picking up on that stuff. All right, let's get in here to Hyouka. Hopefully, I didn't write them down this time because I realized last time I had my fucking English teacher prompts ready to ask you guys and missed them. Hopefully I'll remember them this time. You guys are the fucking kids at the back of the class with your heads down while we're talking about Hamlet, and I'm just calling on you. I'm like, guys, no, Hamlet is good. You just have to actually think about it.
It's the fucking Lion King, sensei.
Detention.
Oh, wow.
All right, episode 5, The Truth About the Historic Classic Lit Club. So as I said, this thing got wrapped up in the next 4 episodes because it was this one.
You were right. You were right.
We come in, they're just kind of recapping the mystery and what we know so far, discussing it and how there's probably some sort of other angle to it. Satoshi, again, starts to rib Areki a little bit, saying that he kind of reiterates the thing of like, you could have just said you don't know and left it at that, and we probably would have accepted it, but instead you went to the bathroom to go to your fucking mind palace to come up with this hypothesis. All for Chitanda, to which Areki snaps back saying it's her fault. Rather than, it's like, yeah, I did do it for her. It's like, nah, she forced this on me.
I do like the fact that Satoshi is speaking the truth to Hotaru.
Yeah. And Satoshi basically calls him out with the stuff I just said.
Yeah.
The symbolism isn't lost on me that during this conversation, the sky becomes less gray.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. See? I picked up on that one.
Good job. It only had to punch you in the goddamn face for you to pick up one detail.
Just watching the rain go away.
Areki goes on to think about how maybe he's tired of being gray, but everyone else and the way they act and the stuff they do and do all their clubs and stuff is so wasteful. All the activities they do.
So it seems to me that he's like, I don't really want a gray life, but I don't want their fucking lives. And, well, I mean, he says like that the guy was like, you're envious, aren't you? Right. And he doesn't, I don't know. I don't think envy is the right word. But I mean, even like later on in these episodes, he keeps comparing, like he keeps putting himself in these other people's shoes and being like, would I actually like that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, to me, he's still like on the fence about or he's at least like trying to think about, and I think that backs up my statement because like he's just kind of like, would I actually like that life over like this gray one that I have? He seems like he's still trying to figure it out. I mean, obviously, but
Yeah. And there's something I want to talk about. I'm just not sure when the right time to do it is. But yeah, that's a definite idea to cling to. And Oreki even, narrates that while he's thinking about this, of how, he goes on his whole grass is always greener thing, realizes that, he does all this stuff and is just like chilling, but he doesn't really enjoy anything. So maybe he should try being a little bit like them and see what that's like. And like you said, Satoshi calls him out as being envious of them.
yeah, and I have to saw someone put this one at the top. It's fucking freshing that these people are doing introspection in a relatable manner.
Yes, I truly, one of the reasons I appreciate this show so much is because, especially with anime, you get so much like over the top, like melodrama and exaggerated characterization, but these people feel like grounded and well realized and well rounded and like normal people. Which even something like K-On!, which, dude, I love K-On!, but they're not normal people. You will never meet anyone in your life that is like the people in K-On!. Yeah, even though it's another slice of life, it's a hard thing to come by. And he also has the thought of how he would look back on his life 10 years from now, which he'll get into a little more later. Back at his house, his sister calls him and tells him that she's fine. She can survive a mugging or two.
Or two.
Yeah, it's fine, man. She's got that Aikido training.
Yeah.
The sister's fantastic. I wish she was more into the episodes because, like, she is the comedy bit that I need for these episodes. Every time she shows up, it's like just gold, in my opinion.
Yeah,
the
she's pretty
sister's
fucking great. Wait, didn't someone hot take that she was dead?
No,
I think so.
Oh, okay.
That'd be pretty fucking weird. She was actively writing him letters.
Yeah, like I don't know why I thought that then, because I thought he just had like letters from the past or something like that.
But
he
he
was
just
rereading.
yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Probably not, but that's why I was gonna call someone out on it.
It's you.
But it was me the whole time.
They talk a little bit more, and she says that Kanyasai is off limits. And she clearly knows some stuff about Sekatani Jun and Kanyasai and everything that happened. She refers to whatever happened as a tragedy, and she hangs up, and Araki gets kind of mad, I think, for the first time in the series.
No, he's like, tell me what's happening, woman. Like, come on, don't hang up on me.
Yeah. Which, fun little thing here, in the Japanese, he uses anaki. God damn it. Because anaki is often used as like bro, typically in like you'd see it in like a gang fashion. But he refers to her, especially when he's yelling at her after she hangs up, as Aneki, Aneki, which is effectively the girl version of that. So I just think that's a fun little detail of like, it's, from my understanding, it's pretty much like the most casual, informal way he could refer to her as like his sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just a fun little nice touch to show, like, despite the fact that they're so different, what kind of relationship they have. He goes to consider Sekatani and whether he looks back on his life and has the regrets, and whether he will again, and thinks more about, rosy lives and how that high school is the rosiest time, and Sekatani had that stripped away from him. So how could that possibly make him like a hero? Like, how could he have come out of that positive? And resolves to solve the mystery. Areki calls everyone in, which is, as they point out, very uncharacteristic of him. And they do a little bit of reviewing of the mystery and talk about different readings of the word, or of some words. Specifically, it's sacrifice could be also read as offering, which isn't really important, but is more of just a setup for stuff to come later. And I think there's a couple times in the show where I definitely feel like, oh, they were doing some wordplay here, but obviously I don't understand it because I don't know Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Areki tells us that he does some research. He figured out the person who wrote the foreword was the librarian. And he did all this legwork. He looked into it beforehand, confirmed it with her, set up an appointment. Like, man went fucking ham.
This man's gonna be a cop.
No,
He's gonna be a fucking detective.
Areki ain't gonna be a cop, dude. Areki's gonna be the fucking. Oh my god, what is that?
PI?
No, dude, we were just talking about detective fiction. He's gonna be one of those little old ladies who's in like a book club, who the police bring in to solve mysteries because they're too incompetent. He's gonna be fucking Murder She Wrote or like Miss Marple or something. Dude, just living his life, knitting some sweaters, and the cops are like, please. We don't know how to do our jobs.
Please.
And there's a really good bit here where Mayaka walks past him and is like, hey, you're all fired up, huh? And he just like, I guess so.
Yep.
Where, again, he's like, yeah, he did all this, and I probably never really thought about it. And then when it's presented to him, he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this, actually. Oh, here's one. They're telling her about the whole thing, and Areki he places all the blame on Chitanda and refers to her as a wild curiosity monkey.
Yes.
I do love that. That's so
I
good.
thought that was weird.
Did you watch it? Did you watch this dubbed?
No, I watched the last two.
Oh, okay, because it's another wordplay thing where she's like monkey, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant junkie. So I'm curious how that, if they just literally translate that, or if that's something they change to make more sense or whatever. But that's obviously wordplay that we don't understand. And Chitanda is not pleased at being called a junkie.
They wouldn't in like the middle of like saying something, and then like everyone just cuts her, or someone just cuts her off.
Yeah, I think so. And then they go sit down, talk with the librarian, and start to get the truth.
First, she was like, "Hey, how about y'all lay it on me?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, holy shit.
But yeah, after that whole bit, and then she sits down to give them the whole story, and just the music and the framing on this is so good because they really frame her like she's the evil person. Like there's a lot of low, dark angles. Her glasses are always shrouded. Like she's just like this nice old woman telling them about something that happened 45 years ago.
I do like that scene where it goes by her ages, like it just reverses her age. I just like that little montage. I thought that was really cool montage.
It is told narrated, but we see the action through a flashback. We learned that Sekatani was just a figurehead, basically drew the short straw to be the face of the movement, even though he wasn't actually the leader.
Oh shit! I remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Fine. So I think one big important part that she kind of like needed to be impressed also was episode 8, right? Isn't she the one that recommended the classlet club to help out the other people?
Is she?
Class 1. I may have misread that, but I thought she, like, when they were talking about, like, you know,
it was like
why...
M tilde E with a music note, wasn't it?
No, I thought, like, when she said, why did you choose us or whatever, and she was like, the Hyouka stuff. And they're like, no one said anything about that.
Oh, yeah. Urasu
Except maybe
does
the
mention the
library.
Hyouka stuff. And
That,
yeah.
I mean, so that kind of is I think, now I could be 150% wrong here, but I thought that was a thing. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I honestly don't remember if, like, it's established how that got to her.
Yeah.
Or if it's just because she's, like, the school's dominatrix, as you put it. We learned that a bonfire caused the sports building to burn, which we got a quick shot of, I think, at the end of the first or second episode.
And they even mentioned that I don't remember when, but they mentioned that building was like the only one, or the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
Since that didn't have to be rebuilt. Jesus.
Yep, because it was rebuilt already. And when they get to the end of it, basically the question is, so was he a martyr by choice? And the librarian just says, I think you have your answer. Which, are we all on the same page with that? Like, how do we think?
He did not do that on his own volition.
No, that's the whole point. Was it showed all the rabbits closing their eyes because they're turning their back on them.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure because they kind of leave that open as like, oh, you could draw your own interpretation, but then like really hammer it home in the next 30 seconds that, nah, man.
Yeah. No, I got a question. So the school was not taking away the 5 days of festival, right?
They were.
I thought that was miscommunication.
No, they were going to shorten it.
Were they going to shorten it? Okay.
Yes.
Because the way the school said it was like the dumbest way possible. It was like this small festival in this small town. I don't know what they said, but they said that, and that like to me is like they was thinking about it, but they wasn't pulling the trigger yet. If you get what I'm saying.
I mean that's maybe. I'm not gonna say that that's wrong.
Okay, but that's the way I looked at it. And then we get to the whole thing with, well, they decided that they're not going with it, but the students still rioted it because they was already in riot form, and then they burned down the fucking building and all that stuff happens. But that's why I was also like wondering if the school was actually doing this, because to me it looked like the school was thinking about it but wasn't actively doing it yet. And the school just and the students just went off. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think I honestly don't know if they were actively trying to shorten it or if it was just implied, like you said. But I mean, we do learn pretty quickly that the Culture Festival now is only like 2 days.
Well, it's 3 days, but
3
also,
days.
Come on.
Also, that's with time. How long was this ago? 20 years ago?
No. I know. I'm just saying that establishes that like. Even despite that, like, yeah, it still got shortened. It ended up getting shortened, but they also say that they did it gradually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure whether it was just an implication or if they came out and just said like, yeah, we're going to shorten it. We talk a bit about the origin of Kanyasai, which refers to the cultural festival, which, again, more word stuff that we don't understand. Like Kanya, I think specifically that part can also be written in a way that refers to Sekatani.
Yeah, I just kind of like, okay, yeah.
And that's why calling it Kanyasai is banned in the classic lit club. And then they start to talk about Hyouka, and they still don't know what that means. It was Sekatani's idea to call it Hyouka. It was his last will as he left the school, basically. Oreki knows what it is and tells everyone that's just silly wordplay. And we get a surprisingly emphasized shot of his bouncy leg. And even Satoshi like notices it, and then Oreki stops himself.
Yeah.
Oreki says that Hyouka means ice cream. And we get a great shot of just like down the line. Satoshi gets it and just face palms. Mayaka gets it and looks pissed off. And Chitada's like, I don't fucking get it.
I'm with Maya on this one. I was like, is it just as simple as ice cream? And I was like, I don't really know why that applies.
So Oreki writes it down, passes it to Chitanda. She reads it, and she remembers. And again, I think the cinematography and music during like her remembering like the flashback with the current day stuff is so well done. She remembers that her uncle told her to be strong, and if she ever remembers or if she ever feels so weak that she can't even scream, she would be eaten alive, which is a fucked up thing to say to a child.
Yeah.
And we get this fucking horror imagery of wolves like tearing rabbits apart with this like graphic novel style blood just like spurting out from their necks.
And then the rabbit bites back, right?
Does it?
Or at least on the newsletter cover or whatever, the rabbit's biting back.
Oh yeah.
It may not be in the animation, so
No, the animation, the rabbit's biting back and it's looking back at all the other rabbits, which I don't understand the symbolism between that.
Probably looking for if they all helped and he could be saved, but they all just watch.
yeah.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. It just seemed real to me, but
Unless
that
you've
makes
seen
complete
Spartacus.
sense.
After that, Chitanda expresses gratitude towards Oreki for solving it, to which he says he just chanced upon it or he lucked into it. And
God, I hate this personality trait on everyone.
What?
Just
Humbleness?
it's lucky. You could be humble like to a point, but like this is like the 6th or 7th time he's just like, I just looked onto it. I'm just getting lucky. I'm just lucky.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want to be that guy.
Oh my God.
He doesn't want to be the fucking genius that everyone looks to solve all their problems.
Listen, I don't want to be a genius either, but here we are.
You're not.
Oreki, here we are. Okay. We have to accept the roles that have been given to us by society.
Do we, though? Do we have to accept the roles that are given to us by society? Interesting that you say that.
Yes, we do.
Okay. We may talk about that with one of the characters' arcs. But I mean, your hatred of that aside, I think it's a nice little sweet moment here because Chitanda, she just lets him have this one. She smiles back and is like, yeah, you just chanced upon it. Then we see the paper that says I Scream. We cut to later. The anthology has been laid out by Mayaka, and Areki is in charge of the Sekatani story, which is the longest one, to which he, of course, protests. But Mayaka is taking charge, putting her foot down, not letting him weasel out.
I do like this. This is funny.
We cut to a little bit later, and Areki is asking why Chitanda asked everyone for help when she was initially hesitant to. And she says that she doesn't want to think that she doesn't know how she's going to feel about any of this in like 10 years time, hearkening back to earlier stuff in the episode. But she doesn't want to think that her feelings right now don't matter, which it's kind of a weird way, I think, to try and tackle this sentiment. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I can necessarily come up with a better way to word it. Yeah, nope. I can't come up with a better way to explain it. I wanted to because I think it's like a really important thought and a great illustration of Chitanda's character. But we cut to Areki writing a letter to his sister, kind of really subtly like accusing her of planning all of this.
Just to like get him out of his shell.
And like somehow she knew that if he joined the classic literature club, this kind of stuff would happen to him. He muses more about his lifestyle and his sister's lifestyle and how they're so different. Thinks like that would make you, and kind of cuts himself off. Anything else on episode 5?
Yes, Hotoro with messy hair is fantastic. I wish he would style his hair messy all the time. He looks good in it.
Bro, you know that dude doesn't style his hair. He takes a shower at night. He wakes up 5 minutes after his alarm goes off.
No, there's a difference. He actually does fix his hair. Because there are scenes with him with messy hair.
Sometimes hair just fixes itself.
I think he just dries his hair and that's how it falls.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it'd be inefficient to run with or to walk with wet hair, more resistance.
Episode 6, Committing a Cardinal Sin. Reki is in class while some dude drones on about the aristocracy in the Senate. He gets bored and he does something we all have done. And if you say no, you haven't, you are a goddamn liar. And he starts loading his lead pencil backwards.
Oh, 100%. I was happy that they had a mechanical pencil instead of like a, number 2 or whatever.
No, fucking hell. Do you guys remember when mechanical pencils is a thing, but like a thing in school? Because I remember I think middle school when they came to the scene.
Yeah, it was around middle school for me, yeah.
Yeah, that's how old we are.
Yeah, we used to have to sharpen pencils, kids out there. We used to have to go get up, walk to a pencil sharpener, like a car crank window, just fucking that shit, and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when I had to go get my axe and chop down the tree, make the pencil, then had to go find a lead rock.
Go to get your pickaxe to go get some fucking graphite or lead or whatever the fuck they put in there.
Anyway, the argument in the next class continues, and eventually we hear Chitanda chime in, and the argument ends. We cut to the club room, and Mayaka is really laying into Satoshi about breaking plans. Chitanda is trying to placate them with cookies, and it is not working.
She was all about it. She's like, I can go get some milk if you guys want. That's the line that got me.
She's silently trying to get Areki to help, making all sorts of faces and huffing and puffing at him, and he's just looking like, I don't know what you want from me. Even though he very clearly knows.
I love the resolution on this scene too.
Areki eventually just goes, aren't you worn out yet? And Mayaka's like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am.
So good. Do you guys know what book he's carrying? Because I am looking at a wiki and it tells us what book
it was like summertime.
Yeah, they put it on the screen, but dude, there's so much shit on these screens sometimes. I don't fuck it.
Yeah, it's Summer Calamity.
I hate when they put detail into things, dude.
I know, man. It's the fucking worst.
Why can't they just put a camera at someone's face and...
Gotta pay. I can't play Valheim and read the screen at the same time, okay?
You don't play Valheim. Fuck off. You sit in a boat for 45 minutes and somehow your brain tricks you into thinking you did something entertaining. Satoshi gives him a thumbs up, to which Areki thinks like, man, I did not do that for you.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Which, yeah, kind of like Satoshi's honestly being a little bit of a piece of shit here.
No, Satoshi isn't as so interesting.
I mean, he's a database. He's not,
Yeah, but he clearly had plans with Mayaka and then broke them off and did not tell her.
Yeah, which is the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why this guy would do that. I thought this guy was a happy-go-lucky guy. Fuck this guy.
He's just leading her on like a little shithead.
That's an interesting thought that we may touch on later.
No, we don't have to.
We will. Satoshi goes into talking about Mayaka and how she gets mad a lot. And they start to go around, and Chitanda never gets mad either. And then she's like, but neither do Satoshi and Areki.
You know what I'm going to say? These two characters, Mayaka and Satoshi, I think they're actually a pretty good couple. I think they're yin and yang, basically.
Interesting thought. Maybe hold on to that. They talk about how, like, yeah, Satoshi does get angry, but Mayaka's like, yeah, but he's not scary when he's angry. And that makes Chitanda curious about what he's like when he's angry, and says, what about Areki, though? Mayaka says, Areki's too empty to get mad. And he gets a little mad in his head and goes, oh, I just got mad.
Savage. This woman is savage against this boy. He doesn't have feelings, so he doesn't get mad. That's the meanest thing you could have said to somebody. Go on.
I love Mayaka's like fucking smug smirk every time she insults Areki too. She's always like, yeah, I got him. They talk about Chitanda some more. They start to talk about the 7 deadly sins. Areki says, I thought there were 108 sins, to which he's corrected, no, those are earthly desires. And he's like, whatever. They start to talk about how Chitanda doesn't embody any of the or exhibit any of the 7 deadly sins, and how she's so perfect and angelic and she should be a saint. And Mayaka and Satoshi just really go ham on teasing her.
So good. I like this tease.
Yeah. And then she, quote unquote, gets mad. She pretends to get mad. And then comes back with saying, like, all the sins are important, and starts to explain why you need just a little bit of all of them. You need greed to support your family, and envy to, like, improve yourself.
And then he also correctly said, well, in moderation. Yeah.
Yeah, when I get angry, it's in moderation, you guys. It's not all the time.
Yeah, okay. Chitanda says that she doesn't get mad. It's exhausting. And she doesn't want to do anything exhausting.
I love this scene.
Areki starts to see her as an angel. His face brightens up. Meanwhile, Mayaka and Satoshi are losing their minds. They're like, oh no, she's been corrupted.
See, I like this back and forth between all these characters. I think it's actually really fun.
Yeah, I do think there are definitely times in this anime, and to be fair, I think this batch of episodes is probably one of the most guilty of it, if I remember correctly, where they do spend too much time on the mysteries and not enough time like fucking around.
Yeah.
Especially episode 8 spends too much time on that stuff.
Just saying, K-On, they fuck around all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the entire anime.
Yeah.
She says she's just joking, and Areki gets very disappointed because he thought he found a kindred spirit. And she starts to talk about how she does get angry, like when people waste food, because every grain of rice is a drop of sweat.
Such a fucking farmy thing to say.
Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that she's like a farmer. Like, see things like a farmer, even though she's super rich.
Well, she's rich because her family's like prolific farmers or something. I don't know. They are farmers, though. And then Areki remembers the incident in the morning. And he gets sparkleized and covered in curious cherubs of Chitanda. To which his response is, he stands up and is like, well, I'm going to head out.
All right, I'm head out.
Yeah. Does not work. Chitanda says something weird. She says like, the thing that has incurred my curiosity or something weird like that. And Areki's like, what the hell did you just say? And she starts to repeat it and then gets confused.
That's pretty good.
Eventually, obviously, Areki is roped in. Chitanda starts to explain the events of that morning. And I love the way it's told through like crash test dummies wearing like theatrical masks.
Oh, yeah. I just thought this was weird, but it's very interesting.
Basically, the teacher started to teach equations that they had not yet learned and starts to scold them. Meanwhile, different masks are put on. I think the teacher takes on an Oni, and I do not know what the masks the students have are. Eventually, Chitanda speaks up. Areki kind of concludes that, like, yeah, there's not really anything strange about that. To which Chitanda's like, yeah, I guess you're right, but how did the teacher make that mistake? Areki again tries to avoid her, and she is just like gradually leaning further onto the table. She might as well be lying on it.
Dude,
Which
that's all I got.
do you guys think that like she knows that if she makes eye contact with him, he's in?
No,
Whether
she
it's-
definitely knows.
Yeah, whether it's subconscious or not, yeah.
Also, random question. Okay. I would like this answer, Lawrence. People in class 1A, they're like the smallest group, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's designated that way. I think it's just your class.
Okay, I just thought it was weird the fact that they didn't go through crazy, and I thought 1A is like the top of the student body, but I might be wrong. But that's
No,
the
I think
way.
it's just the room you get assigned.
Okay.
Mayaka says something, I forget what, and she almost gets distracted. She's like, that is an interesting thought, but I'm busy with this. Reki's like, damn. And then hits him with the sparkle eyes again. He
This is where all-
posits.
All the little angel demon little things come out.
No, that was before with all the little cherubs.
fuck,
That was the
okay,
first time.
Yeah. Sorry.
Areki posits that maybe he got the day wrong. Mayaka, quite proud of herself, shoots that down. And then inquires about more than this. It's a little weird that Chitanda talked back to the teacher because she couldn't imagine her doing that, like under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
To which Chitanda doesn't really have an answer. Areki posits another theory, which gets shot down. And then we learn that Satoshi's class is on ranges, which is the thing that the teacher was trying to teach that they hadn't learned yet. And Areki figures it out and starts his explanation. Satoshi kind of assists, and they use the cookies. He bites the cookies down into a lowercase a and a lowercase d because he's a math teacher, so he uses lowercases because algebra.
It was at this time I realized that they apparently use English letters for algebra.
Yeah, I think
Which-
so. Because it's math. I mean, because the letter isn't important. It's just a symbol, right? And you want math to be understood across all languages.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Like, there's we have something in aviation or English after I think World War I or II. I forgot was like designated as like the universal language for aviation.
Mm-hmm.
Is it American letters or what? Or is it like
Yeah. It's kind of what I've only been to a few different
Germanic.
countries.
It's the Germanic alphabet.
Yeah, but essentially you have to know basic like English aviation terms to fly.
Oh,
Although when you
kind of
go in different
interesting.
country, it's more like it still becomes like if I fly to like Mexico or whatever and I check in under like English or whatever, then you'll still hear most of the time you'll still hear like the Spanish speaking pilots checking in under, using Spanish. But the ATC controller has to speak English to us. He can speak Spanish to them too. But that's kind of how I've noticed it.
Yeah, and kind of along that same line, I also had the epiphany that like every time there's a high school in anime or Japanese video games or whatever, the classes are denoted as like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, whatever in the Germanic.
Oh yeah. Just like this one.
I hope it is Germanic and I'm not confusing that with something else, but I think it is. And this explanation is told through like a sketchbook, sketched by Areki. They go through the whole lowercase letter thing. We learned that Mayaka and Satoshi mix up their letters on English tests. Although in Satoshi's case, it's an H and an N. Chitanda starts to feel a little bad. And Mayaka gets mad at Chitanda for feeling bad, for getting mad. Satoshi then is like, hey, we should go. Meeting's over, guys, all right? Areki then does a little bit of musing about Chitanda and the cardinal sins. Starts to think that like she felt that way because even though she does get mad, she never wants to get mad. She wants her anger to be her own fault. Because if she blamed the teacher, then she would be justified in getting mad. But then he cuts himself off as like, dude, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know this girl that well. What the hell am I doing?
It's kind of weird because it doesn't stop him from like analyzing the other situations he's been in where he has very little to go on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, I mean, obviously he's got a crush on her, whether he realizes it or not.
I don't think so. I think the next episode pretty much shoots any thoughts of him having a crush on her down. Like, there's no possible way, right?
For a second, I was like, wait, what's the next episode? Is he fucking with me?
Chitanda thanks Areki again for helping. And as they're leaving, Areki thinks like, another day squandered. Sloth is enough for me.
Another day squandered.
And this one ends with the thing with the phrase little birds can remember, which is a reference to Elephants Can Remember by Agatha Christie.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wiki, and supposedly all these are actually mystery stories. Did not know that.
What, all the ending things?
No, all the cases they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's based on a light novel.
No, so this one, the mystery story is story 2 of Commit a Deadly Sin from the Dog That Took a Detour.
Yeah, I think that's Hyouka. I think that's the light novel.
Oh, well, I'm sounding stupid. Okay, go on. I do want to bring something up, which I know something that Owen should bring up.
Oh.
Go ahead. I would love for you to bring something up that's important.
To me, I think the fact that
Chitanda?
Yeah, Chitanda is the one that speaks up. I think the reason she speaks up is just because of her uncle. Because he knows about the story about what happens when people don't speak up for other fellow students. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that she is, she's embracing it. Or, you know what I'm saying? She's like learning from that story to like try to stand up for other people. I mean, this happens right after what happened with the whole uncle story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they do have a whole discussion about why would Chitanda do this? Because this is not regular behavior from Chitanda. She would have been one of those students that just like sit in the back, you know what I'm saying, and not do anything about it. But this time she actually does bring herself forward and tells the teacher, no, you're wrong. And so I'm just wondering if she learned something from her uncle because of the situation, what happened to her uncle.
Characters don't learn in stories and
Boy,
like
you're
TV
getting
shows.
a little smiley face sticker on your essay. You're that fucking problem child. Turned in a good piece of work for once. So proud of you. No, but really, like, I actually hadn't considered that. I really like that as a reading, for sure.
Because they do discuss it in the episode why Chitanda would be doing this.
Yeah. Mayaka does call that out, and they just kind of brush past it. You're right. Yeah. Look at you, solving the mystery of the characters.
You know why? It's because it's a fucking mystery.
Exactly. Now you're getting it. All right, let's move on to episode 7, Upon Seeing the True Nature. We open up on a bus. Satoshi is talking about a giant eel that was on the news, basically a Loch Ness Monster parallel.
Didn't they talk about this in Mob Psycho too?
The
I
hanging
feel like it's
man?
the
No.
same eel.
Is it? I don't know.
I could
What's
be
the
wrong.
eel?
I don't know. Maybe I could be talking out of my ass.
I don't
I don't have an
anything
answer
about
for you,
eel.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
This whole conversation, Areki is watching a ladybug, but they all kind of lay out like their philosophy on mysteries. And for Chitanda, like, I guess we kind of don't know where Mayaka stands, if I remember correctly, but Chitanda is just like happy to engage with them, to play with them. Like, it doesn't matter what it ends up being. She just likes to explore them. Satoshi, he more enjoys like observing it. He doesn't care whether it ends up being true or not. It's about the story. And Areki sees it as they use this term multiple times throughout this episode of a beckoning flower, which is something that seems enticing, but once you see it up close, turns out to just be a wilted flower, which maybe speaks to their worldview. And I thought this was the point that I really wanted to jump into something, but I will save it, actually. I think there's a better point if I even want to do it in this batch. It's hard to tell what's doing too much. I actually did write what Satoshi says. To Satoshi, it doesn't matter if it's real or not, but it would be more fun today if it was. So he wants to treat stuff like it's real in the moment.
Oh, interesting.
We learn that they're heading to a hot spring. Areki
Hot
gets
spring episode. Whoop, whoop.
the least, probably the least horny hot spring episode in all of anime.
Okay, so this is our second hot spring episode, I think.
Hours,
yes.
Yeah, hours.
Oh, this is my second hot spring episode.
I hate
Well, I'm trying to think. Because there's one in Evangelion.
Hot spring and beach episodes are interchangeable, by the way.
I'm saying hot springs right now because beach.
No, I'm just saying sometimes things don't have a hot spring episode, but they'll have a beach episode, or vice versa.
Well, I guess this is a fourth one if you count a beach episode because there was one in Devil's a part timer, and then there was one on Yuri and Ice, and I think that's all. Right, Evangelion, Yuri and Ice, and Devil's a part timer.
Yeah. Which surprisingly, the hot spring episode in Evangelion not bad.
No, it's bad.
They do the hot spring okay, mostly.
Okay.
Kind of on that thought, because I want to say it's like 13.5 technically or something. It's like an OVA that's like this weird fucking pool episode for Hyouka that I think we're going to skip because it's not like actually part of the series. You're obviously more than welcome to watch it, but we're not going to watch it officially.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm just throwing that out there because I don't remember if it's like 12.5 or 13.5 or what.
Anything with a 0.5, let it go.
Yes. That aside, Areki gets car sick, and Mayaka has hooked them up with some rooms because, what is it, like her aunt or something owns an inn?
Something like that. Someone in her family. I think those were her cousins, right?
Yeah, that's how I refer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We meet her cousins, Rie and Kayo, which are in, I believe, 6th and 4th grade, respectively, so they're younger. So we get a quick scene of Satoshi and Areki in their room, just kind of hanging out, doing more of their bullshit, where Satoshi pokes fun at Areki's entire existence. They go down for food, and Areki smells cheese, and then he so confidently guesses what the food is, and then gets there and is completely wrong. But he guesses that the dessert is cheesecake, and the cousins are amazed. They're like, "How is this the thing they told us about?"
And he looks at what's her name?
Yeah.
I really need to make a cheat sheet of these people's names.
Mayaka.
Mayaka.
Yeah. The younger sister spills something, and then we come back to the rooms. Reki is lazing about. We get a cut of him cycling through, like laying down and watching TV, and then laying down again.
Oh yeah, he is car sick, or was car sick. Which I think is the stupidest thing ever. Like, he's just car sick. I'm like, okay.
People get car sick. I don't think he's car sick after that initial scene. He decides to head to the hot spring. As soon as he leaves his room, bumps into Chitanda, who is also heading there, so they're going to go together. Chitanda asks him about his sister. We learn that she is an only child, but has always wanted a sibling. And Areki thinks that she's being too idealistic about what having a sibling means.
I like this episode.
Yeah, the more I think about this episode, I like it. Like, this actually is a pretty decent, like, mystery. And I know it's about the fucking mystery thing. You're like, this is not about the mystery. But like I'm keep saying, I do like the mystery.
No, I think you're right. I think this one feels very like Nancy Drew.
Yes, I will die on this hill. I think if you're going to use mysteries as like a literary device to tell like a full story about all this stuff, I think they should be at least slightly intriguing. This one is very like it's. You figure it out, like it's very simple, but it's still fun, and there's a really nice little message at the end of it. I think this is a very well done episode.
Cool.
This is my favorite one so far.
I'm just gonna say I will bomb that fucking hill, and you will die on it.
I got my flat cannons, bitch. Bring it.
Go ahead.
What I like about this mystery, though, is the fact that they do show you everything about it, where you could actually solve it if you think about it.
Yeah, totally. In terms of like the actual mysteries, this one does feel, like I said, a lot more Nancy Drew, a lot more in that genre of they kind of want you to piece the mystery together a little bit, where the others are more of just like a framing device for stuff that is happening to the characters. They get to the hot springs, and Chitanda points out there's no mixed bathing, to which Areki gets a really flustered. Is like, of course not. Why would there be? What?
Wait, are there actually mixed bathing ones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying Chitanda, not afraid of her body. She's like, yeah.
She's a farmer, dude.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, too. I'm like, she's a farmer. I bet she's
Also, I bet she doesn't seem like the kind of person who has like the social awareness. She's super concerned about that. All right. Satoshi is already there, just hanging out and being a little weirdo. They just start to chill in the hot springs, and we hear sounds from the other side, and Areki's like, is that Chitanda? Being the fucking horniest fucking 15-year-old in the world.
Yeah. This was done well.
Yeah, totally. But I just love the fact that, like, nah, man, that could be literally anybody.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Is this it's that fucking meme where he's like pointing at the butterfly? Is this Chitandra?
Yeah. But we see shots of him looking more and more distressed, interspersed with Chitanda just like doing hot springs things. And then he just straight like passes out.
Just fucking loses it.
Satoshi has to bring him back to his room. Like, he must still be car sick.
This man can't even handle a hot spring.
Well, all the blood definitely left his head.
That's what I said too. It's like the only note I have written down.
He's over in his room pretending that he's still car sick. And the heat definitely got to him. Chitanda comes in to check on him and touches his face, which again makes him lose his goddamn mind. He rolls over. He's like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Leave. No, go away. She leaves him, and then he hears some taiko drums. Then we hear the ghost story about the person who stayed in room 7 and hung themselves. And the 9th guest to stay in that room got sick and died. So they built another hall and closed that one off to prevent rumors. Which again, every time they launch into a story, like all the different styles of animation they use, so good.
It's so good. So good.
Reki sees someone running across the yard, and we come to the morning, and Mayaka is having a bad time because she saw the ghost. Which I think we've talked about this already with Devil as a Part-Timer, but just in case we haven't, it is a big trope in anime that typically the toughest girl is afraid of ghosts.
That's a weird thing.
Are you not afraid of anything, Anthony?
No, like specific, like why
I
does
rest
it
my case.
always have to be ghosts though?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying is the weird part. Like, why can't like she be afraid of like choking or like dying alone like the rest of us?
Oh, well, you see, ghosts are spooky, Anthony.
Listen,
that's why.
I'm not afraid of inevitabilities. At breakfast, Areki observes that there's no cup for Kaio, and they start to talk about the ghost story. After they talk about it for a bit, Chitanda sidebars with Areki, basically says she saw it too, starts to get curious, and he gets double sparkle eyes. Mayaka joins in on this one. As they recruit him to solve the mystery of the suicide ghost.
I'm just saying, you guys, so Satoshi is sleeping, and he has drool coming out of him, and I'm like, oh, that looks like the best sleep ever. I thought he was the one that was behind it. I thought he was the red herring. I mean, he is the red herring. I thought for sure he's the one that was making this story true. Like, just fucking around with these people.
Yeah, that leads perfectly into what I was going to ask, which I guess now you don't have to answer. The episode does make a point of being like, man, Satoshi's never around, and they're just sleeping while they're investigating. Like, obviously Monkey gave his answer, but Anthony, did you think he was up to something? Like, what did you think he was doing?
No, I saw him cocked out, and I was like, yeah, bro, same. After like a night in the sun, getting into some hot springs, dude, I'd be fucking cocked out too.
Okay.
I was just like,
Monkey picked up on that he's a red herring.
No, I was just sitting there like, yeah, no, I get it, man. My man is sun drained. Like, I understand going to the beach is fucking exhausting. I don't understand why these people are getting up at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, they're doing their investigation. They're about to go into the other building, and I should point out, I guess they left Mayaka behind. She's not joining them on the investigation. She's helping with homework. They see Kaio, and Areki sends Chitanda to deal with her because he, quote, sucks with kids.
I love that. That's so funny.
And when Chitanda is talking to her, she seems very scared of something or very nervous about something. We learn that building is used for storage, and she is not going to let them in. We see a radio calisthenics tag, and a ball, both labeled with Rie, and another one of each not labeled with anything. They start to explore outside, and the ground is muddy because it rained very briefly the previous night. We cut to them at lunch, and they raise the question of where Satoshi's been at. And Rie comes out in her yukata. Satoshi pulls Areki aside and basically makes fun of this 12-year-old girl. It's like, her yukata's not real. That's a clip-on sash.
I thought the bow was clip-on.
Yeah, the sash. Well, that's part of the sash.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think you can tie your sash into a bow, but instead of doing that, they just clip on the bow.
Yeah, he was just like fucking roasting this girl.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, okay, fine.
He's a database.
Yeah, dude, he knows. He just knows shit. Areki and Chitanda go back to the hot springs. Satoshi is there again because my man slid down a fucking cliff because he gets there faster.
I do love that question. It's like, how did you was at lunch with us? How did you get home before I did?
Just slid down a fucking cliff.
Yeah, and Areki's like, yeah, I see it. Okay. He asked if there was an event last night, and he's like, yeah, there was a summer festival. Didn't you hear the taiko drums?
Oh, we did.
They're leaving the spring, and Areki has solved the mystery. He's explaining that it was a yukata on a hanger that was hung to dry because Kaio stole it, and it rained, and her sister is mean.
And her sister is mean.
I mean, basically.
This whole time I was like, that doesn't mean she's mean. That just means, she's protective of her stuff. And then when she jumped on that fucking, I was like, oh, yes, perfect.
What?
Oh, when, I was kind of following the logic with him and, disagreeing with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that doesn't mean she's mean. That just means, she has her stuff. She likes it to not be messed with and stuff. And then when, they were walking, and then after they had their little, maybe, siblings aren't the greatest or whatever. And then, they were doing the little piggyback ride, having fun. And then he was like, well, sometimes. And I was like, yeah, fuck you.
Well, I don't think it was was it? I thought she, hurt her ankle or something, but I guess
maybe that, yeah, but yeah.
Pretty relevant. But yeah, I also like that they do that quick turnaround of oh, wait, you're really going to go ahead and leave this episode on Chitanda being sad now because siblings aren't that good, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, siblings can be nice. And kind of flies in the face of Areki's philosophy of things being a quote-unquote beckoning flower, where when you get a closer look at stuff that seem desirable, they're just a wilted flower.
Yeah.
Anything else on episode 7?
I don't think so.
All right. Go straight into episode 8, which this one has one big point I want to talk about. Episode 8, let's go to the screening. We start with an apologetic text saying there's no more. There's kind of a backhanded response. And then we cut over to a chat room where someone's saying that they need someone else. And someone says, oh, I don't know if I've got that. I've got someone who can dance for you. Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
What's up?
What the fuck was this?
Okay, quick question. Do you guys have any theory? We know who L is, obviously. Do you have any thoughts on who M tilde E music note is?
Okay, you know what? Now that I actually know what's going on, up until just now,
I don't know the answer, by the way. If they do reveal it, I forget.
Weird. I thought this was just so weird, and then it made more sense in the middle, and now that you just okay. So we got a guessing game, Sal. We have homework to do. Who do we think?
I wasn't even paying attention to this fucking email thing.
At the beginning,
I saw the
wasn't
email and
either.
I'm like, I don't fucking care about this fucking email chain.
I was so just what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me think. What is it? M-A?
Oh, it's almost like a mystery where you're supposed to remember information that was presented to you earlier and piece it together.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. M-A what?
It was like M tilde E with a music note. It was either at the front or the end. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
And that person's the one's like, oh, I've got someone who can dance for you. And I believe refers to who we know to be Irisu as her kohai, which means the opposite of senpai, her underclassman, which in theory could be any age, but probably not a teacher, but someone who attended that school or currently attends that school.
Fuck. I don't know, man. I haven't been really keeping up with some of the side people.
So again, I truly, truly forget.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is even answered, so my guess is Areki's sister.
Areki's sister.
Yeah. Whose name is Tomoe. So maybe there's some wordplay going on there.
Huh. No. As good as guess as I got.
And obviously we know that L is Chitanda.
Yeah.
She's really big into Death Note. We learn L will be there. Or who we know to be Irisu starts talking to L, who says she'll be there and makes typos a bunch. She says like, I'll be there in a much.
That scene's actually a lot funnier now that I have the context behind it, but it's so weird at the beginning.
Especially knowing it's Chitanda on the other end, which of course it is. And she's like, you don't have to convert to Gaji. It'll be fine. She's like, yeah, also invite your 3 friends, the Classic Lit Club, right? Yeah. Which should have been a dead giveaway that it was one of the members of the Classic Lit Club.
Yeah.
We come over to Satoshi and Areki walking to school. Satoshi is going full fucking Eeyore, basically. Where it's like, I have no talents. I'm not good at anything. I can remember stuff, but I would never win a quiz show.
And then, what is his name? Hotaro
Areki.
Yeah, Areki has the realization that like is literally the next step, where it's just people who have convenient lives can never live simple ones. Like, yeah,
or geniuses don't get to live normal lives.
Mm-hmm. Which
and Satoshi's basically snaps back, and I'm like, I don't know about you, man. I haven't made my judgment on you. I think you've got some talents, which sucks for you, bud.
Yep.
They are late to the club, to which Mayaka lays it to Satoshi, of course. And Chitanda is also late, to which Mayaka is worried.
Yeah,
because it's a difference in behavior.
She's not gonna berate. Yeah, she's just like, we'll see. We should go find out.
Yeah. Chitanda comes in and brings them to a movie screening where we meet Irisu, who I think is a really fascinating character. And the way they introduce her is so fucking good with, like, they show her walking across the room with all these, like, shadowy, powerful angles trying to make her seem mysterious and, like, ominous. Satoshi just immediately starts complimenting her. It's like, hey, the way you, like, handled the mediation between blow is so cool. And she's like, I don't know who you are, man. Please get away from me. Areki does note that it's weird for Satoshi to openly compliment someone like that. And we learn that she is old friends with Chitanda's family and has kind of been around in Chitanda's life for a long time. That's how they know each other. She just wants them to give an opinion on the movie. No ulterior motive. She basically explicitly says there's an ulterior motive, but it would be more efficient for them to watch the movie first, to which Areki's like, more efficient? Which actually, it's so interesting that, like, one of my favorite things about this character is we get it a couple times in this episode, and it just kind of subtly sticks around of, obviously, there's Chitanda, and, like, that's the focal point for Areki. But Irisu kind of exists as, like, this weird, like, almost secondary curiosity for Areki. But yeah, she's like oddly interesting to Areki in a way that most other characters aren't. And it's not just because she'll say stuff like, that's more efficient, because she's probably playing him when she says that. But, this is what I want to ask about. So you watched this one dubbed, right?
Yes.
So how is the movie in the dub? Because in the sub, it's like so spot on with like shitty high school filmmaking.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Okay.
This was such like we should split up now, like all that kind of shit, and it's very. Are you talking about mainly the dialogue, right? Since it's a dub,
in terms of like the people acting.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's the same kind of like. Yeah, it makes sense because he even still says like, yeah, well, this is what you get for a fucking high school production or whatever.
Yeah.
So
they still do that really well. They have like a couple people clearly way overacting. One person is like kind of good.
Yep. Yeah, they have like the one girl with the black hair is just kind of like, we should go over here now.
Yeah.
And then like the guy who's like, we should split up, you know?
Yeah, that fucking guy.
Yeah, the guy who dies.
The first to die.
Absolutely.
I honestly don't think it's like from the perspective of the show super interesting. It doesn't really have much to offer. But I do think the movie is really well made for making one of those.
Yeah, it's really good at making it bad. I'm like, wow, this is so bad. It's so good.
So many shots where they zoom in on a thing and then turn on the flashlight
Yeah.
and then linger on it for another second.
Oh, so who you think is the killer, Anthony?
Oh fuck, I didn't even think about it. I literally finished this 2 minutes before fucking.
We will bring that question back. So you have a minute to ruminate.
Okay.
I'll give you an out on this one as I rush through the movie. So it's basically just a mansion mystery to which Satoshi is excited and Mayaka's like, what? Satoshi's very into it. Man's taking notes. They go and distribute their keys in the movie. And we learn that Satoshi is a movie talker, which fuck him.
Yeah,
I hate
was
it.
going to say, fuck him. He is a dirty movie talker. This guy deserves to be thrown in jail for what he has done.
And watch it, dude. I relate to Mayaka so much. Just every time he talks, she looks back and gives him that, like she's not actually going to say anything, but just trying to give him a dirty look and hope he gets it. That's me in movie theaters before the end times.
The end of times.
One of the students goes missing. We find him dead. Chitanda is, of course, way too into it. And Areki's like, how can she get emotionally invested in this? Do you have any thoughts on who you think the culprit is?
From like the stuff they give us, not really, but I was saying it's the girl with the brown hair with the pink bow.
Is that the like really deadpan girl?
I don't know. No, it's not her. I think she has white hair, is that girl, or black hair.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's her just because she looks like the least person that would do it, and usually it's them.
Is that the same one that Areki guesses? I don't remember any of their names.
I don't know either. The movie was so bad, I don't remember anything.
Yeah. I really like Areki's reasoning for his guess, though. All right, so who do you think the killer is?
So just based off of my remembering everything, I think it was the kind of nerdy kid that went by himself.
Okay.
Who wound up, I think he was the one that was also leading everyone to the rooms. Because I think if I remember correctly, he, like I said, he was by himself, and also he came from a different spot of than he left at, right? When he like come through like a weird window.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning.
She asked for their opinions, and Mayaka straight up is like, it's clumsy, but it's fine for what it is, I guess. And Irisu completely agrees and says it's fine to indulge in self-satisfaction sometimes. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know your movie's not that good, but sure. You can be happy with what it is.
Are they doing
Why
this?
not?
Were they doing this for like a school thing or just for fun?
I think it's for the culture festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah, have fun.
And then Irisu drops on them that the script is not done.
Bum, bum, bum.
And they are there because she wants them to deduce the culprit. Says that the writer, who goes by the name Hongo, is very into mystery novels, followed all the rules of mysteries. So all the logic should track, regardless of it being an amateur thing. And of course, everyone looks at Areki. Areki guessed that it was, I don't remember the names, the faces, but he guessed that it was Yamanishi because she had a bad attitude.
Did he already guess? I don't remember him guessing already.
Yeah, no, he guesses like immediately.
Fuck. Oh, okay.
It's like an Areki blow-off guess, though. And then he starts to kind of question Irisu about this whole thing. She explains the whole situation and apologizes and starts to leave. She says something, I forget what it is, but it's so clearly like her last second play. Like if this was another, like a different shitty anime, there'd be a shot of her smirking as she walked away as Chitanda falls into her trap.
You've activated my trap card.
Because she starts to walk away and Chitanda gets curious about Hongo. And there's a great shot of Satoshi and Mayaka exchanging looks like, yep, here we go. And Chitanda starts to recruit Areki because they have to avenge Hongo's death. Which is a great line because then Irisu's like, she's not dead. Chitanda's like, oh, right, sorry. Areki eventually agrees to take on a role as observers where they will just oversee the rest of the process. we cut to them leaving, and Satoshi tells them about Irisu and how her family's like important to hospitals, but also she has the reputation of the empress in the school, which in the sub, Areki sets up a joke here of like I forget what, well, it says like not queen or something.
So I looked it up
The
because
Empress?
this was I like this one, and you mentioned like there's a different sub. So in the sub, he specifically says, yeah, it's like the queen,
Mm-hmm.
and then they do the whole bit where she finishes or she heaps.
Yeah, Mayaka finishes it and he's like, I salute you for
Yeah, I salute you for
knocking down what I
exactly.
set up.
He's the T-ball, she's the ball, or she's the ball. Fucking knocked it out. And then in the dub, it is dominatrix,
Mm-hmm.
which still got a hearty chuckle out of me.
But basically, the idea behind her being the empress is that she uses other people as her pawns, and she's good at manipulating people, which should be clear by now. And then Satoshi starts to talk about tarots, and we're gonna talk about tarots, guys.
I'm the king.
I know
The
nothing
king is not a tarot.
about tarot.
Tarot is very big in like anime and JRPGs.
I just know they pull cards out, like you put 3 down, and then they say this is your fucking future.
So here's the thing. Satoshi starts to assign to everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to run through this real quick, and then I want to get you guys' thoughts on the assignments of tarot, I guess. Satoshi gives Mayaka judgment or justice, one of those two, and I'll go over what all these mean in a second. Satoshi gives himself fool or magician, but then concedes fool to Chitanda, and he gives Areki strength. But Chitanda kind of thought of Areki as star. And here's what these mean. So fool, which is assigned to Chitanda per Satoshi, means, and this is like very truncated, abbreviated meanings of these, very rough. But fool basically means optimism and trust in life. The magician, which is the other one Satoshi would have given to himself, so kind of defaults to, means action or power to manifest. He gives Mayaka judgment, which could be rebirth, new phase, or inner calling. Yeah, one of those is, sorry, I wrote these twice. Or I wrote judgment twice. I did not write justice. And the other one is fairness, equality, and balance. One of those is judgment, one of those is justice. He gives Areki strength with it, which is courage, subtle power, and integration of your animal self. But Chitanda thinks Areki is star, which is hope, calm, and good omens. What do we think about those tarot assignments?
I think my head hurts.
The first thing is the fact that you finally did research and you still somehow fucked it up. So that's always fun.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's get that out of the way first. I think Satoshi does a good job of everybody's assignment. And I actually agree with his thing on strength more than Chitanda thinks of him as a star.
But don't you think it might be like a matter of perspective and what Areki represents to those characters?
Yes, that's where I instantly went to. Was like, well, he's known him longer. He knows what he actually is, and lately he's been doing this stuff, so he's strength. And she's only seen him as like a very, very calm person. For the most part, when you said calm, that sounded like dead on. But
also, like, does he not like work as a symbol of hope for her?
for her,
Yeah.
I mean, what's it called when like hope's already been like? I mean, she's already gotten the hope out of him, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No, she looks at him every time there's a mystery to solve.
Oh, I mean that's fair. Yeah, I was kinda
Areki is
thinking-
the most interesting part of her life.
Yeah, I don't think interesting is hope though, right?
It could be. I mean, we don't know enough about Chitanda yet for me to really dive into that. But
what I was kind of thinking was like, well, my initial like spur was she already solved her case, her personal case, right? So at this point, it's more curiosity and less like hope.
or she could just keep looking to him to draw, because without him, she wouldn't get to explore all these things, right?
She could explore them. She just probably wouldn't solve them.
Well, yeah, it would be significantly worse
So I don't know. It's just
from her perspective again.
yeah. I don't know. Hope seems like a strong one for me to assign to him.
Okay.
Personally, I would lean towards strength for him, but I understand why she said star, except for the hope thing.
How do you feel about the Mayaka assignments? Do you think she's more judgment or justice? Because she's the only one who doesn't get a solid one. She's the only one who gets two that just.
What were they
flip-flop.
again? Sorry, there's just a lot of shit.
Judgment is rebirth, new phase, inner calling. Justice is fairness, equality, balance. And these both come from Satoshi. Bear in mind.
I mean, I think both of them are good, but I think justice is the way to go. The later one.
Fairness, equality, balance.
Yeah.
You think so? Even earlier in the episode, she scolds
Yeah.
Satoshi and there's like, Chitana's fine.
I don't think either of them really fit her personally.
From Satoshi's point of view?
Justice or judgment. Is that the other one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe judgment, but I haven't been. I guess I just haven't read into their situation that much.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that she likes him.
Yeah, Satoshi's a pretty slow burn on his character arc. His takes a while to come to her big head, so.
Yeah.
Which I guess with that, how do you feel about Satoshi's assignment of himself as the magician, which is action or power to manifest?
It's a weird way. That's a lot of words in a very short sentence that has a lot of connotation behind it.
Uh-huh. Welcome to mysticism and fucking horoscopes, my man.
Thanks, I hate it.
Bunch of vague bullshit that can mean anything.
I'm also looking these up as we go along.
You're probably going to find different definitions. This was just like a quick and dirty I found. The Fool I found specifically interesting because I mostly know a lot of tarot stuff from like the Persona games.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fool is always the main character. And, you're the main character. You're the one who impacts the world. You go out and be friends with everybody. You get all the different personas when everyone else only has one. Another way to look at the Fool, I think, is like almost a limitless potential. It's everything and nothing all in one.
So an easier way that I like to digest this a little bit, so would you say that like if you pull the magician, you have like he said that he has like all the skills and abilities he needs to be successful?
Sure, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, you could take that reading probably. I'm not a tarot master by any means.
Yeah, that's just a simplified version of what you said that makes more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, someone who self-proclaims himself as the database probably assumes that he has a lot of skills and abilities that he needs.
But multiple
Or
times
not
he
even
says,
skills.
but he constantly puts himself down as saying like he has all this information and stuff, but he can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if I re-put this as knowledge instead of skills, so if he has all like the knowledge and abilities that he needs, or a knowledge that he knows to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think that's not an inaccurate reading. Again, I don't know however many tarot cards there are, so.
But again, bear in mind this is Satoshi's own perspective on himself.
Yeah, I don't think that changes anything for me.
Okay. I feel like it's pretty easy, but how do you feel about Chitanda being the Fool?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Yeah, she's very optimistic. We cut to, I guess, the next day, and Areki is about to go to school, but it's too hot out, so he decides to stay home.
Oh, it wasn't school. It was a meeting, right?
I don't know. I guess it could have gone either way.
Yeah, because
I
he
mean,
was
he
like,
still had to go to school.
literally, he opened the door and goes, not a chance. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think he was not in school clothes, but.
Chitanda then comes and picks him up. I was like, hey, let's go. At the club room, they're picked up by a girl named Aba, who is leading them to where they're going to talk to people being referred to as the detectives. Chitanda brought snacks.
Hell yeah.
which is actually important. And Chitanda asks Aba about Hongo, who describes her as no nonsense, meticulous, and kind to a fault. We meet the three detectives, or we get a quick shot of the three detectives who are like not in the movie, but they work on the movie basically. And their whole thing is they're going to present their theories, and our panel of experts is going to decide if they think any of them are correct. And the episode ends there with the new ending of Why Didn't She Ask Aba? Which is a reference to another Agatha Christie story, Why Didn't They Ask Evans? Any other thoughts?
No.
The only one I have is I was kind of like I wasn't super. I mean, this could pan out much better than I'm anticipating, but I wasn't super excited that they were like, "Hey, let's have you do the detective," and they're like, "How about we just oversee the detective stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, maybe they have a plan for that. That's going to be really interesting or more interesting. But I was kind of like, just fucking do it. But that's just that's just a little small gripe. But I was, we'll see.
Okay. I'm going to spoil something very small, just something to look forward to next week. Those snacks that Chitanda brought, if I remember correctly, they are liquor chocolates, and Chitanda may accidentally get drunk off candy.
You can do that.
Yeah, dude. Liquor chocolates are real.
Sounds amazing, actually.
They will not get you drunk as a full-grown adult.
Oh, well, fuck. Never mind. I'm out. I just want to hit with any final thoughts?
No, I'm good. Next week we'll be doing episodes 9 through 13. If the weird pool episode happens to be in that, you are free to watch it, but we will not officially discuss it. If you want to know how to get in touch with us, listen after the music, where you can get our Twitters and email. If you like the show, hey, leave us a review. If you hate the show, tell us. Give us something. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you hate. We'll take any kind of engagement at this point. Please notice us. Otherwise, see you next time on My First Anime. Hey, thanks as always for listening. We decided to smash through fate and forge our own futures by launching a Patreon. You can check that out over on patreon.com/myfirstanime, where hopefully by this point we figured out some cool shit to do. Or if you would just like to leave us a review and rating on wherever you get your podcasts, that helps as well.
And also, I am winging this. Also has wings, Twiddle. So at us, at My First Anime, and other shenanigans. Talk about how awesome I am. That's Salvador, awesome monkey. Just leave comments about me is what I'm asking for. I'm also plugging, I guess, my stream on twitch.tv/stmonkey with a 0.
And if you want to email us, our email address is myfirstanimepodcast@gmail.com. And you can check out pictures of my cat on Instagram and Twitter under the handle of Sir Paper Plate.
See you next time on
My First
Anime.
Did it in one.
Perfect.